Hey, this is Michael C. Williams from the Blair Witch Project and Ghost Game, and you're listening to the Don't Go Out There podcast. So don't go out there.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and listening. We are joined once again by another legend of the business, known best for his role as Michael in the original Blair Witch Project, the objective, and his brand new movie, Ghost Game. Please welcome Michael C. Williams. Michael, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How you guys doing? Dustin, Brian, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
honored.
absolutely. Our pleasure. Look, we always just want to get our interview started off, and we ask all of our guests, what got you into acting? I know you majored in theater at SUNY, but was that always your dream?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I did always kind of hold that to, right to where I live, right to where I breathe. I started watching films when I was young. My sister took me to see Grease in the movie theater. It's the first one I ever saw, and I was just blown away by what was happening up there. And then I remember being like, 10 or 12 years, probably 8 or 10 years old when the movie The Champ was around, which was Ricky Schroeder, who I was similar looking to, blonde hair, blue eyed kid. He's like
Right.
pounding on John Voight's chest, who's dying on he's a boxer. He plays a boxer, John Voight. And I remember being in my little TV room in the suburbs, like pounding on the couch, pretending the couch was John Voight and crying along with Ricky Schroeder. And I'm like totally imagining it and then being like, okay, cool, I could do that. And it's super fun. So my imagination has always been my best friend. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, before we get into Ghost Game, we have to talk about a certified classic and your most notable role to date, the Blair Witch Project. You played Michael, of course, and we have to ask about any memorable experiences working on that movie and how that role came to be.
So that was all memorable and still is, and it's the 25th anniversary, which I can't believe, and we've been talking a lot about it lately. So I'm glad you asked about it. It was an open call, so I went to SUNY New Paltz, studied theater, wanted to be an actor, moved down to New York, was in a hallway with 300 other people trying to get one of three roles in an improvisational feature film, and we auditioned over the course of like 2 weekends, and eventually I wound up with the role of Bill, who we later changed to my own name, which is part of the big story. But what I remember most about that, it was improv, it was run and gun, it was really thoughtful in its inception of, we're gonna have a GPS before GPS was a thing.
Right.
We're gonna be out there kind of haunting you guys and following you and shadowing you in the woods, and you'll always know something's gonna happen, but you won't know exactly what it is. We just really need you to react and work together and just the trust we built, Heather, Josh, and I in that film, and the sort of legacy that we didn't know it was going to leave, that it left. You become this sort of humble participant in something that created history is really
Yeah.
special. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking to my mom about that movie today. I'm still scarred from watching that movie. I was sixth grade. I rented that movie and The Waterboy, and we watched The Waterboy, then Blair Witch Project, then had to watch The Waterboy three more times so we could sleep. So definitely, definitely
Thank God
impressive.
for Adam Sandler,
Yeah,
man.
right.
Woo!
No kidding.
But speaking of the Blair Witch Project, according to your press kit for the film, you played in the Yankees organization. So I'm kidding, of course. So I know that was the character Michael's biography and it was printed by mistake. But what can you tell us about that? And are you a Yankees fan? They're looking like they got a shot to win a World Series this year.
So I was at the Game One Division Series, sitting up in the nosebleed, and then I guess I understand it's the most lead changes in a postseason game in the history of the MLB, which I didn't know, and it felt like that because it was super tense. You could barely go out to take a leak. You were so like, oh. So yeah, I'm a big Yankee fan, and honestly, a lot of the teams look special right now. They're all like 93, 94 win teams, and I saw what happened with the Mets and the Phillies last night, one of the greatest postseason games I've seen that I can't
Insane.
believe. I mean, these games are incredible. So there's one tonight, and I'm excited about it. And let's go Yankees. It's I think it's anybody's game this year.
I've got
Padres beat the heck out of LA last night, though. I
yeah,
was
they
shocked
did.
to see that. So it's anybody's game. It's fun.
I've
That's the
got
way.
I've got the Yankees over the Phillies in seven. So
Okay, I'll take it. Wow, that would be a pressure cooker. I'll take it. The
All
fact that
right.
Baltimore's out there, like Kansas City, that's no joke, man.
yeah.
Baltimore was
No
good.
joke. No
Yeah.
kidding. All right, last Blair Witch Project question, I promise. But the sequel to the Blair Witch Project, your real life brother Tom got to play your fictional brother in the sequel. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Were you behind him getting that opportunity?
Yeah, so my brother had gone and visited the set when we reshot the ending, which we never used. We reshot the ending of me in the corner after
Oh,
Sundance. We had me like crucified on a stick man. We had me levitating in the basement, like all these alternate endings that the company that picked up the film to distribute wanted to use. And of course, we didn't use any of them because the original ending was pretty cool, I think.
Hmm.
And Tom came to visit, and then that's when he met Ed Sanchez and Ed and Dan Myrick, and they said, "Hey man, we're doing this supplementary piece that's going to market the Blair Witch Project. I think it was called Sticks and Stones, which was like this sci-fi special that was going to market the Blair Witch Project." And they asked him, "Would you be interested in playing the part of my brother?" Which he is, and he was like, "Absolutely, yeah." So I'm proud of my brother. It doesn't come up a lot. Like he's a good actor. That was good stuff. He's not an actor. He wasn't born trying to be an actor, but I think he did a great job with that.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
that's
I
awesome.
agree.
So, all right, let's get into what we've got you here for. Ghost Game. The official
Uh,
synopsis talks about part of an internet challenge to live undetected in a stranger's home. A daring couple target an infamous haunted house and witness a family descending into madness. That sounds crazy. What can you tell us about it?
It is pretty crazy, and the premise is good, and that's what the movie is, man. The movie does match the premise, and for me, I was excited about playing the role of Pete, who's the father, who's the family descending into madness.
Okay.
To me, I approached it like this. There's a couple of different stories and there's a couple layers to this film. There's one story about a crew inside of a house trying to haunt the people that bought the house. And then there's a story of the people who bought the house, and the guy's a writer and he's just remarried and he's got a stepchild that he's just trying to do the best he can for them and buy this old house and maybe make some money on a new book. He's got a pitch and that's got to work out. So he's got this sort of like everyman life pressure happening, and that he's got to make money and raise a family and all that, and in this new old haunted house. Um,
Right.
and then it doesn't go very well for him. So his plans kind of get foiled pretty quickly, and it kind of descends. It descends from there. So there's a couple questions. Is it haunted? Is it the people that are haunting them? Is there more to it? And that's where you kind of got to watch to find out.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much you could really get into it or not, but I know you can get into this. It's directed by Jill Gavarzian. Can you talk a little bit about working with her?
Yeah, working with Joe was great. It was just a treat because I had worked with the producer before, and he mentioned there might be a script with something in it for me. And then Sam Lukowski and the producer Carlo Glorioso wound up sending me the script. Sam plays Adrian, and I think he was an associate producer on the film, and he's amazing. And he sent it to me and said, "Hey, check out the stylist. This is the director, Jill." So I watched The Stylist and I was like, wow, she is so talented. Like that was an incredible small indie horror film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And so immediately I was like, I'm interested in it. I love the story. When I read the script, it was strong. It was written by Adam
Yeah.
Cesare, and super strong script, good dialogue, good relationships between the characters, and sort of that unknown feeling, what's going to happen here. I wasn't sure while I'm reading it, so I was like in the story while I was reading it. I called Jill, and she couldn't have been more giving, and just a better partner to work with. Like young, second feature, with a little bit more of a budget, but not a huge budget by any stretch. It's very small budget, and she was able to do a lot with a little. She also hired some really amazing actors. So the actors and actresses, the young people in this film, I call them young. They're in their 20s, and then of course my daughter is not. She's even younger than that. They're just
Yeah.
so genuinely good. The woman who played across from me, her name is Emily Bennett, was just a phenomenal scene partner. But Jill, she created a set environment where we could ask questions and feel free to make, choices and explore, and all the time, like also like moving really fast because we're trying to shoot this thing. So she struck a nice balance.
Awesome.
Right. And, I mean, just kind of getting into the state of movies right now, anyway. I mean, everything seems to be, a sequel or just trying to run off of an IP to try to get on their streaming network. And that is what I think this movie to me stood out so much, the fact that it was just unique. It seemed to tackle, two horror genres at once with a home invasion thriller mixed with a classic haunted house film. Can you just kind of speak to that a little bit? I mean, and just like I said, the general state of film right now, period.
Yeah, it's 100% true, and it's no secret. Like people are making movies that are attached to brand,
Yeah,
right? Things that are identifiable already, and this is not identifiable. This is a new, fresh story. While I had never heard of frogging before, I don't know if you guys ever had, but which is where people break into houses and start stalking other people. Like I had never heard of that. I hadn't seen anything like this, and maybe there's something out there that exists, but this is not based on anything. This is not a sequel. This
right.
is prequel. This is a story that is brand new and fresh and raw, and I love that about this
Yeah,
film. And again, I'll go back to it. It's a small film, right? So if you can
right.
do a lot with a little, like that takes, it's hard to make a movie. It's really hard to get from start to finish, from script to shooting to editing to, hey, we're coming out on October 22nd. That's not an easy
Exactly.
thing to do, especially with a tiny budget. So kudos to them and I hope there's more like this. I hope there's more films, and I'm sure there are, because what you don't want is you don't want young filmmakers to go like, I'm not going to work because I'm not doing the next, Chex Mix horror story, right? You're like, I'm not, the evil Chex Mix, which might be an IP someday. Don't coin it, but you know, you want people that are coming out with fresh ideas who feel like this is a story I want to tell, and somebody's going to
Right.
shoot it, going to make this movie. So it's encouraging to see these kinds of films, especially
Yeah,
for
they're
me. I'm older now. I'm not old, but I'm older, and I've
mhm.
kind of been through it and seen Hollywood unfold this way. So it's cool to see like there are still people that have creative ideas out there, and we really
Yeah,
need to listen to those ideas and make these films.
absolutely. So Ghost Game will have a limited theater release on October 18th. And on October 22nd, the film will be available on streaming. I'm definitely planning on checking it out myself. Michael, before we get you out of here, I do have something I thought of I want to ask you. There's a trend going around online. I don't know if you're familiar with Letterboxd, but kind of the trend is what's your top four Letterboxd movies? In other words, what would you consider your top four favorite movies ever? I know it's a broad question on the spot.
All right, so I'm going to go Back to the Future.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
great.
My,
won us
That's
over.
my
yeah.
It's like
That's it.
the best movie in the world, in my
Yeah,
opinion. It's a
yeah,
Wonderful Life, which is an old Jimmy Stewart
Absolutely.
movie, right?
Yep.
Frank Capra. I would go Goodfellas.
okay.
I would go Goodfellas. There's a movie, Glory, Denzel Washington.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
You're
So
four for four so far.
those will be like four that are huge, but I want to give you a current because it's on the top of mind and it's what we're talking about, which is not attached to an IP. It's horror
Right.
thriller and it's genius and it's called Strange Darling, and I highly
Oh my
recommend
God.
it. So
I
like if you're
loved it.
gonna run and go watch Strange Darling, then please go run and watch Ghost Game when it hits, but you won't be disappointed. At least for me in Strange Darling, and I would not think you'd be disappointed in Ghost Game either. But and again, two very different budgets, let's be honest,
Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, if you guys are into the horror thriller, I would go check that out. But those would be the ones that come to top of mind.
No, I'm with you. I love Strange Darling. So
You
that was a
saw it?
fantastic movie.
Dude.
Yep.
Wow, wow,
Saw it
wow.
open weekend.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I know you've got Ghost Game coming out, which we've talked about. Do you have any other projects in the works you'd like to plug? Your IMDb mentions a movie called His. Is there anything else you got working on?
Yeah, his is a small film that I made locally with who was actually a student of mine because I teach filmmaking and acting locally, and she was a student who is now like has her own company, and I did a
Wow.
small role in a film that she probably shot a couple years ago. But other than that, there's some things in the works that are unannounceable at this point that we'll see.
Right.
But my main energy right now is really getting some love out there for Ghost Game because of Jill,
Absolutely.
because people like Emily Bennett, Kia Dorsey, Zane Hader, Sam Lukowski, Vienna Moss, like these young actors. To me, like I'm okay. Like I'm happy that people want to come see me, and thank you, and I'm grateful and humbled by that. But like, go see these people, man. They're really good. They're really
That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything else you'd like to shout out, social media or anything?
You can check me out. Michael C. Williams is my actor account, Michael C. Williams, and I have some fun on there. And with the 25th anniversary of Blair Witch, I've been, being at cons with Josh and Heather has been fun, and I've been posting
Yeah.
pictures and stuff. Once in a while, I'll throw a video up there. And then yeah, just fun, having fun and engaging with fans as much as I can there. Because again, talk about being humbled by the experience of a movie. That's probably the most humbled I could be, is that people come up to me, they have a tattoo with a stick man on it and say that they saw the movie in 1999, and
Yeah.
they're just so, it's incredible. It's incredible to be a part of that. Uh,
Absolutely.
it wasn't something we set out to be part of history, and here we are 25 years later talking about it. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
It's a cornerstone of my growth in movie and horror appreciation. I will tell you that.
That's so
Absolutely.
cool. That's so
Michael,
cool.
it's been an absolute treasure and treat talking to you.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate your time.